Good afternoon, everybody. It gives me the greatest pleasure today to be talking to Sudi Burnett, who is an inspirational life coach, spiritual teacher. And today we're going to be talking about her near-death experience, which shaped where she went with her career after that. My name is Eileen Thomson, and I'm with the Inside Out Institute. Sudi, so what happened? I mean, apparently you were in your early 20s when this travesty occurred. So what exactly happened?
Okay, so I was pretty much, how I explain a human being a human as being born into duality. So I always say if we divide ourselves into two halves, the right side would be mind and ego partner up working together, and your left side would be heart and soul partner up and working together. So in my 20s I was coming like maybe over 90% from the ego mind. It was like I was so dissatisfied. I kept thinking that I need to be powerful, I need to be famous, I need to climb up the ladders, and then I would do that. I would put myself under so much pressure, so I would get this degree and then I would be enough, and then I would achieve that, and it was just like I still felt so empty. And it was like, oh, is that it? I thought, I'm going to feel more whole and complete and have more self-worth. Although from the outside I was extremely successful. I was working as a health coach, and I was a personal trainer, and I was booked all day, but it didn't matter. I felt miserable. I would work all day. I would be at the gym like 6 a.m. And then I remember around 7 or 8 a.m., I would just leave, and the manager would run and says, where are you going? You still have clients. And I was like, give it to somebody else, And then I would get home, and then in my own space, I would have a few glasses of wine to wind down and all that. So basically, my ego was very big, and I was all coming from that side, and I was dissatisfied. It didn't matter how great time I am. I mean, I was living in Los Angeles. It was my dream since childhood to come to United States, but nothing was making me happy. So I used to drive every day, and I was very reckless my entire life because I never experienced any fears. And since my childhood, I was always looking for danger. Like what would be more exciting and more dangerous. So I would do all these kind of crazy things that I'm not going to talk about it right now. But so I used to basically sleep till the last minute, and then I would jump, take a shower, and rush and drive crazy to work. So basically, one of those days, I got into a car accident. Now, here's the part that probably your audience wants to hear. The minute the accident happened, Eileen, my soul left my body instantly. So wow. I don't even remember. I just remember a hit, and I didn't even recall that other cars hit me from the back. So in an instant, my soul left, and then I became the soul. And it was like, like when you're like feeling so light, like a feather, and you're just moving up. And I was in between the cloud, and I was like, I just remember I said, oh my God, thank God it's finally over, And I was ascending, I was going up, and then speed up very quickly. So it was like a tunnel of lights, and you just going like really quickly. And then I entered this space that it was like many spiritual beings, like it was only kindness and love, pure love, that they come and they embrace you. And it's just like so beautiful. That is like, there's no judgment. It's just pure love. And I experienced that unconditional, pure, non-judgments being there. So the next thing is, Eileen, it's like you're getting so much information, but because you're on a higher consciousness, like your vibration is also rises. So it's like you're getting a crash course in a matter of seconds. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden I could understand that my soul has picked up the movie that I'm living on planet Earth. Right. And everything at that point is by free will. So basically I could see why I chose my parents, why I chose my father. I could totally understand because, you know, I lost my dad at age 10. And that was a major, major trauma. Maybe you read that in my biography. So I could totally understand. Okay, you're going to use this character as your father. You're going to be a daddy's girl, and he's going to leave. So by him dying, what are your classes? What are you getting? Is basically number one is you feel abandonment issue. Mm-hmm. You understand the codependency, like how dependent you are to your father. And then once you have this, like basically up to that point, I had this Cinderella life. Right. Everybody loved me. Everybody was around my finger. And all of a sudden, your father is leaving, and then all your classes will show up, like security, safety. This word is just unpredictable. Like you don't know what's going to happen the next day, even the next second. So then from there, I could understand that these are these are the classes that are going to open up. Yeah. Codependency, that feeling of like the ego that likes to stick to everything, sticking to, this is my father, oh, I love my father, I can't be losing it. Then unworthiness. Yeah. Unworthiness was a major, major class for me. And nobody could see it from the outside, because from the outside, after the death of my father, I started to put up all these protection shells, and I became extremely tough. Mm-hmm. I totally moved from my feminine energy into masculine energy, right? Mm-hmm. So then unworthiness, lack of self-love, what else? Not being enough is going to lead into controlling. I became a control freak. The more I control my surrounding and situation and people, the more I would be safe. And also, what else? Yeah, not being enough was led to obsessive compulsive disorder for me. Right. I got diagnosed with that at the early age. So at that point, I could see in a matter of seconds why my soul chose this script. Right. What classes are going to be opening up. Mm-hmm. And then right after I got this feeling, oops, I'm coming back into my body. Right. And I was begging, please don't send me back. And then I understood that at that point, now I don't have a free will. Right. Because I had to go through all these classes. So that obviously then shaped
what you came back with after this experience allowed you to know exactly what your path was going to be. You knew exactly instinctively that you were going to follow the path to inspire others, to be able to help them with codependency, worthlessness, how to build their own self-esteem, because you had already been through that. And now the near-death experience, did that kind of like blend the two together so you could allow others to be able to follow you?
I'm not quite sure about that, Elaine, because when I got back, right, remember your vibration and your frequency is changing.
Yeah.
I understood that when I was on a higher realm, on a higher consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I came back into the body, my vibration is coming lower. So
Right.
it's like, let me explain that to you, how it was. It's like you have this amazing dream, and then you wake up and you know that you had this amazing dream and you don't want to lose it, but you only have a hold of pieces here and there. It's kind of scrambled.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it was like, okay, I really need to remember this dream. What was it? Who was that character? But you get a piece. And then you searching for the rest, but you don't have it. It's just not in your memory. And then maybe a couple of days later, you get another piece, but you lost the other piece. So it's like, oh shit, what was that? How did that? So for many years, although I was a different person, for the first time I started to be content with my life and what I have. That was a major transformation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And also because I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. So what happened in the accident was, when the crash happens, I go forward, my chest hits the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I travel through windshield. I hit my forehead against the windshield, and then I come back and hit the chair again.
Oh my goodness. So, I mean, so were you actually injured? Were you physically injured from this accident?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Majorly.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back, it's like this was a really interesting scene, because you coming back first, just step before you begging and pleading not to come back, and then you realize that no, you're really coming back to your body, and then here was the scene. The mirror was folding down. As I came conscious, the first thing was I saw myself in the mirror. My forehead is all cracked, blood all over my face, and I can see drops of blood like running through my nose. That's the scene, right?
Yeah.
But I'm still so confused from what happened that it took me literally maybe like 5 minutes before I experienced the pain in my physical body. Then I start looking around and I'm seeing the cops, they shut down the freeway, and then the paramedics are trying to pull out the door because my car got smashed from front and back. So, the door is bended and they can't get the door open to pull me out. So that was the scene. But here's another part, Eileen. After that accident, I lost my voice. The minute I start talking, I realized that, oops, because I injured my lungs and everything. So I wasn't able to speak. The second miracle was that I just started wearing eyeglasses.
Mm-hmm.
And when the accident happens, it's like someone lift out the glasses, put it on the side, and then I'm going through this trauma. So the glass doesn't break down. And so I was very grateful. I didn't know what my voice was coming back or how long it's going to, or is it ever going to come back or not. But I was grateful that I didn't lose my eyesight. I was very grateful for that.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, like from the time I was a little kid, I was an entertainer. I used to sing. Now I lost my voice. And then this is like something, it's kind of like the universe is giving you a hunch that, oh, that's not the path of fame and becoming a singer, because I was still singing, like even to those age where parties here and there. The path is something else, right? But I couldn't exactly pinpoint what the path was. But anyhow, my voice comebacks is not the same voice. I cannot sing because I also act, and I've been on stage for, I was doing theater for 5 years.
Wow.
And I can't project because the minute I'm coming to project, I lose my voice.
Right.
So, yeah. So that's basically it. And it seemed like I did a detour. Like I couldn't, few years after that, I still couldn't put all this information together. And when the information will come, I would get a download. I didn't know how to use it.
Right. So how did you progress from there? I mean, did you seek any help, or was this something that you just did by yourself?
All on my own. So I tell you the story. Many years passes, right? And then one day, let me backtrack for a second. From that accident, number one, my whole vertebrae turned the other way around. So when I went to a chiropractor, he said to me, he said, you're majorly damaged and you probably won't be able to function or lift anything because the whole vertebrae was going backward, right? Disc from top here, every single one.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't listen to him. I mean, I got treatment for almost 6 months. Mm-hmm. But from that point, I decided that I'm going to make my body really, really strong. I started getting into weightlifting, and I did 16 exercise DVD. I started doing crazy, crazy things. Like I would work 9 hours a day, then I would go to the gym, and I would take this high impact class, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then I would run to the treadmill, all those machines, max it up. And I did that, and physically I made myself extremely strong. So that was against that's a part maybe your audience wants to listen, or maybe some of them will relate, that we should never really listen to the experts or diagnoses or what they're saying. Is only what we think and what we believe.
Yeah,
That's,
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I mean, I do feel like, there are times in most people's lives where they hit a brick wall and they realize that they either give in or they fight. And, I've always been a fighter. I had a fairly traumatic childhood and so on. And I just always believed that my life would get better. And because of that belief, I feel like it always drove me forwards in a really positive way. And it, even though my childhood was traumatic, people weren't very nice, hugely negative. Essentially, that did not change the way I felt about my fellow man. I always wanted to help, always wanted to be of service, and, just wanted to get on with my life in a really positive way. And I feel that's what you're kind of saying here, is that, you've got to have that drive, and you've got to sometimes just take control of your own situation and drive yourself forward anyway, even though people tell you can't. I find that for me, that I actually feel more driven forwards when people tell me I can't do it.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes stubbornness really helps. So, so basically, I really got into health and nutrition and all this stuff. But what got me into it? I was doing salsa dancing DVDs.
Mhm.
And I was looking for professional because I didn't know how to do salsa dance. I just wanted to do it. So I hired a couple of dancers who were professional dancers. And one day, I remember exactly a day before Thanksgiving, November 24th, one of the girls that we became very close friends, she was also very much into spirituality. And I remember I wasn't into this healing, and it wasn't, I had no knowledge, it wasn't my word or anything. I wasn't a meditator or anything. So she said to me, she said, Sudi, how would you like to see a healer? And I'm always very open to new experience and new things. And without even knowing what a healer is, I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. So she said, I have this friend of mine, her name is Renee. And how about if I ask her to come tomorrow? And I had a gathering for Thanksgiving. I mean, loads of friends were there and the dancers, and sure, have her come. So Renee showed up. Renee was also, she was a healer, but she was born and raised in California.
Mhm.
She was a bodybuilder, like really tough and muscled up and that stuff. And I was impressed when she walked into my house. So she took me to one of my room and she said, you have to understand there's nothing you have to do. Everything is telepathically. So I lay down in bed. She was speaking this language that I didn't know at the time called angelic language, and I couldn't understand anything of it, but my soul was reacting, and I cried my eyes out, Eileen, for 1 hour. I was like crying and crying. It got to a point that she said, are you okay? Would you like me to stop? And I said, no. So that was the first thing. And then right after that day, everything changed rapidly in a
Wow.
speed of a light. So now I'm going to sleep. Everybody left and stuff. I'm going to bed and I'm seeing all my senses are like so opened up, and I'm seeing all these different entities. And I started getting scared, all these lost
Oh,
souls, and I'm connecting here and there. And so I called her up the next day. I said, Renee, you got to come here. I'm really freaked out. I mean, there are so many souls that I'm connecting and they're asking me for help, like little 5-year-old child, and then this one, and then that one. And then Renee said, oh, don't worry about it. Those are lost souls, honey. Send them home. I'm like, what? Send them home? I'm freaked out. I don't know how to do this. So anyhow, Renee came, and this is our second session. Now, this is really weird. So she comes in, she sits in the couch in front of me. And as she's talking, I'm going like, really, I'm getting into a trance already. And she says, oh, they're calling you in already. So come, she would always bring her massage table and I would lie down. She says, remember, everything is telepathically. So whatever question you have. So the first thing I'm like, oh, I hope she speaks English. Because the last time she spoke some language that I didn't understand.
mhm.
And then Renee started talking. Now she, like I said, she's raised and born in California with this American Indian accent. Oh,
Okay.
my daughter, you have been chosen. And I'm thinking, I have been chosen for what? To help people to open their heart and heal. And
Mhm.
then I'm asking, this is all telepathically, right? I'm asking, so do I have to do something? Do I have to go to school? And then I can hear the laugh in her voice, and she says, oh, you have done this so many lifetimes, And then she said, you're a master healer. Okay, so I come out. Now, this is where it gets really weird. I'm sitting and Renee sat down in the couch, and then I'm trying to understand what's going on and putting this thing together. All of a sudden, Renee comes, kiss my feet, and she's bowing in front of me. And I'm like, Renee, what the heck are you doing? She says, oh, Master, forgive me. I didn't recognize you. I didn't know who you were.
Wow.
I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, you're a master healer. You came here to do blah, 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 blah. So anyhow, I became really close friend with Renee, but we switched. Now Renee comes every day and she says, can you please channel for me? Now I'm learning from her. I don't know what, I'm like, what do you mean channel? She said, you don't understand your shows. When you do your show, when you go live, you're channeling, you're downloading information.
Yeah.
So then she would ask me to channel for her, and then I would just close my eyes and I would tell her. She would ask me question, and then it started from there. Now Renee was in a whole groups of healers and spiritual community. She had a lot of friends. And then she would tell this one and that one and this one, and they would come to my place and I would go into trance and they would ask their questions and I would answer and I would come out and we were laughing because Renee used to say to me, she says, you know, when I go to this stage, it takes me hours to come out. You go into a trance, you do a healing, and you go in the kitchen and make some food and start eating. Like, I mean, how is this possible that you can? This transition is happening so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that you actually had your own TV show, which I think is pretty exciting. And I mean, do you find that kind of really sparked off your career, or was that actually after everything had started to happen for you?
No, I started, I was pursuing my acting. So I was like almost 40, and I thought to myself, I said, since I was a little kid, I really wanted to act. There was nothing that I loved. I could watch a movie when I was age 5 and 6, and I would choose a character and I would play the role with that character. So I said, I'm going to give it a try. I know I'm too old, but I'm going to give it a try, because if I don't, then it's a part of my soul that hasn't experienced that. And then all my life I would be like regretting, what if I would have, what if? So I started pursuing my acting, and very quickly everything came together because I became SAG, like union of the actors, and then I started getting agents and blah blah blah. So one day my manager called in and she says, hey Sudi, I booked you for a commercial. They asked that you have to be fluent in Farsi and English. And in that time, like 20 years ago, I was hanging out with all American, European people. I wasn't really in contact with Persian community. So I went for that audition, but because my Farsi was very broken, and I walked out and I said, oh, I really messed this up. It's okay. As an actor, we're used to it. We go to an audition and you let it go. And then that evening, someone called me and he says, hey, I was passing by and I saw your footage. I'm looking for someone to co-host my show. And I said, what is this about Persian television? I'm sorry, I'm not interested. I don't want to have anything to do with Persian comedy. So he was very persistent and he said, just one show. I went to sit with him as a co-host there to do one show, and it went like boom.
Wow.
In Persian community, Persian television, I became a hit on one. These are all, pre-planned and everything. So anyhow, fast forward coming to today, for the last 20 years, all my clients are Persians, my shows and my lives and, my YouTube channel and my Instagram, everything. So but the TV show had helped me, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
But also, I remember I was talking to I have this couple of Indian friends, they're yogis and that stuff. And I was talking to one of them one day and he said, Sudi, it's just like angels wrote your script and that stuff. But in this lifetime, acting and singing is not for you. You came to enlighten people. You came here as a bridge to bring the healers and like shamans and bring them in together. So forget about that. Maybe acting and entertainment another lifetime, but it wasn't. So then everything makes sense. Like, why did I lose my voice? Why can't I sing? And da 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 da. But yeah, the TV show definitely helped me to become recognized and come up and getting followers.
Yeah, exactly. Because I noticed that you have a huge following, and I know that, you know, I've been following you for a little while now. Obviously, I contacted you a little while ago anyway, and I noticed how many videos you were putting out, and obviously huge amounts of people are following the things and the things that you're teaching people. What would you say is your biggest success after, you know, now when you're teaching people? What is the biggest feedback that you get from people?
I actually said that I did a live or something in Farsi a couple of weeks ago. And I talked about that, Eileen. I said, you know, I was thinking to myself the other day that I didn't really have a big impact in raising consciousness or waking up humanity as I wanted to. And I was talking to a friend, and my friend says, oh, come on, you are helping out so many people. Because if you look at the comments on YouTube or Instagram or all that, everybody, oh my God, you changed my life, you transformed my life with all these seminars and webinars and all these things that I do. But that's not how I feel. You know, it's still, I'm being extremely transparent. With all these things that has happened till now, I still feel like, oh my God, like I thought about it the other day. I said, I'm 50 some years old now. I know I'm going to live a long life, but still I should have much bigger impact. So I got to get moving.
So, I mean, effectively, so you're still essentially moving forwards and not standing still. And I think that in itself is the inspiration. I think people get to a certain age where they say, oh, well, you know, I'm this age now, so I can't do anything. And I was speaking to my coach, Balwinder Marwaha, and he was telling me that his uncle got to his 70s and had always wanted to be a comedian, and decided to travel the world when he was 70, you know, and he did that, you know, and it just goes to show that it's never too late, and you should keep, you know, posting your message and keep getting out there. And, you know, I noticed, you know, you've got almost 44,000 followers on Instagram alone. And I mean, that's a massive impact. And as time goes on and people share that message with others, that's just going to grow, you know, because you're continuously connecting with others. And that's what inspired me to contact you. You know, I see you as a really inspirational person who is influencing lives in a very, very positive way. And that has to be probably the biggest challenge any of us face, is finding our true life path and following it.
I'm very humble and I'm very grateful for you saying this. But yeah, as I'm getting older, I'm feeling this urge that I need to have more energy and I need to be moving on more, not less than when I was younger. So yeah, this is and that's basically my message, that don't look at your age. You know, we all hear this thing in theory, age is just a number and blah blah blah, but I really truly believe that. Like, I believe that everything is mine. You know, we know about quantum jumpings, and we know that whatever we think and we feel and we see, and that becomes our reality. So I don't feel that I'm past my 50. I'm feeling like, okay, where did all these years go by? Oh my God, look at all this experience. It went so fast and so quick. But now it's like, okay, because it's been years that I'm thinking I should make this shift from the Persian Farsi speaking community to the English more.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, I mean, there are so many people out there today, and hopefully a lot of people will have seen this live show today and be, you know, looking to kind of follow you in the future, and hope that you're going to be doing more things in English because your story is extremely interesting. And it's good to see how many lives you've already influenced, and may that just continue. May you continue to grow and reach more people and pass that message on, that, you know, you have to just keep going and not listen to people who tell you can't do something. That you should find your true life path. And that's essentially what I've been doing, working with the Inside Out Institute. We've been working with the conscious mind, the subconscious mind. You know, we have, you know, not targets, but we're looking at our path. You know, what's our 5-year vision? You know, creating a vision board about all of the things you would like to have in your life, whether it's more time freedom, or whether you want to have more time with your family, or you want to travel. You know, you can't realize anything unless you actually put it down on paper, or, you know, print out the pictures of all the beautiful places you'd like to go. And so that you see that every day, and your subconscious in a way says, right, okay, that's what you want. Okay, let's go for that then. You know, and if you don't have any dreams, then, you know, you might as well just give up. And that's what the Inside Out Institute is all about, is about promoting you, yourself, and making you confident to go and do like an interview like today, you know, and I'm just totally awe-inspired, and I will definitely be continuing to follow you, Sudi. I'm just so interested in your story. And I'd love to see how you unfold now coming into the future, meeting your Western audience and delivering the same message that you've been delivering to all of your Farsi followers.
Yeah, you know, also sometimes I just feel like, I was talking about this maybe in one of my lives, previous lives, and I said, I woke up today, and then I was thinking, what do I have to say? I mean, there isn't anything that other teachers and gurus and that stuff haven't said already.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because, you know, I'm clairvoyance and I'm clairaudience, I hear and all this stuff, and they said, it's not about the material, it's about the energy and the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So they were telling me that you shouldn't look at the material. Okay, for instance, if you look at if you go and Google on YouTube or anywhere about law of attractions, how many videos will show up right now, right?
Yeah.
But not everyone is resonating with the person who's delivering it,
Right.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
also, so that's what they brought to my attention again, because sometimes you know something, but it's not in your awareness, and then they brought it to my awareness that it's not about the material, it's about the energy that you're emanating. You
Yeah.
helping people to raise their vibration. So it's not really about the material. And I tell you something while we're here. So when I do a seminar, like, so people are attending physically, um, it's the environment, it's the energy that's building, is people are already there, like high, or without using any hallucination drugs like
Mm-hmm.
ayahuasca or anything. Is the You are able to raise people consciousness, and that's when you don't really have to give out information.
Mm-hmm.
People are capable at a higher vibration to receive and download that information.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
I'm gonna, yes,
sorry, carry on. It's okay. Sorry.
and I'm gonna add this because many years ago, it was at the beginning when I started getting into this path, I used to have download every single day, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It became routine. I was checking my emails and responding. I was running a business, right? And all of a sudden, oh, I'm tired. Boom, I would go into a trance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And I used to get downloads every single day. And then one of my downloads was, it's very funny that I was in Ireland. I was standing on top of like a mountain. It was very overcast and foggy, and there were loads of people standing there. And I could vividly see this lady on the first row that she was looking at me, and tears was just running down her eyes. And then it flipped to London Auditorium. It was a huge gathering again. And I asked, do I have to say anything? What do I have to do? And they were like, I heard nothing. It's just your consciousness, your beingness that raising their and then boom, it went to India, and I'm sitting on this carriage and they have lots of flowers around me and that stuff. So I have that picture and I talk about it with my audience and that stuff. I said, you know, that I could say that was a dream. I could say that that's in a parallel universe. This is happening, right? But either way, if I want to, I'm able and capable to experience that right now if I learn to quantum jump and to raise my vibration.
Right. So it's been so interesting to talk to you, Sudi. Yeah, I'm just so excited to kind of share this with everyone and for them to see you on the platform that we've created today. And I'm sure that we're going to get a lot of comments, and I'm sure there'll be lots more followers that'll be right behind you, and hoping that you're going to start doing more things in English for the Western world to share your gift. I think it's really, really important. And I would just really like to say a huge thank you to you today for speaking to me. And I hope to do this again with you at some point.
Yes, definitely. I really enjoy it, Eileen. I'm very grateful and thankful for you to following me and having this interview. And yes, definitely we should do another one, but maybe in a way that people can come and I can channel and they can ask their questions and we go through Q&A. That would be wonderful too.
Yeah. I mean, perhaps we can organize that again at some point in the future. And I'm sure that there'll be lots of people who will be really interested to maybe expand on the questions that you've already answered today, because I'm sure there is a huge amount more information that you have to share with us. But as I said, I would really like to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I very much appreciate it. And I'd like to stay in contact with you.
Absolutely. Same here. Love and peace.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, dear.